Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
We shall do that. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON Radio. It is Monday morning, August 19th, 8 in the morning, which means it's Coffee Ann time.
Yes.
And
as it normally for 76 plus years, Joe.
There we go. I'm Joe Callahan. That was Dave Richards right over there. Good morning to you there, Dave.
I am. Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. And we talked about it a little earlier before Coffee Ann started.
Because but the folks listening to Coffee Ann don't know what
that's right. What we were talking about is the Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, and Dave remembers it well. Back to 1968. Little fuzzy for me, Dave. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
All right, and we were talking about the mayor of Chicago at the time and his quote that he said at the DNC convention, and I paraphrased. I had it a little off. What he actually said back then is the police are not here to create disorder; they're here to preserve disorder. That is an exact quote from Mayor Daley back then. So
well, if you ever ran a national political convention, you know that it's nothing but disorder.
Right. And so this year's mayor, Brandon Johnson in Chicago, they're confident, as we just heard in the national news, that their security plan in place for the Democratic National Convention
will preserve disorder.
Is perfectly fine. That's right. They've worked together with the Secret Service, and I hope that was a good thing to do, to maintain a secure convention. And he said Johnson said the DNC is welcome protesters. Not the mayor's welcoming them, but the DNC is welcoming protesters to express their First Amendment rights. And there'll be a place for them in Chicago. Will it be near where the convention's being held? Probably not.
Well, it'll be a comfortable distance away.
Down the road a piece.
Now, the protesters, of course, all want to get in the faces of the people who are there.
Well, that's right. Yeah, the people
and
that are voting.
They certainly want to make it convenient for the national news organizations to
want to be seen,
keep track of what they have for grievances.
So I haven't heard, Dave, maybe you have, where in Chicago is this being held? I'm sure is the Chicago Auditorium still a thing?
I don't know.
Where, with the Blackhawks.
Never heard.
And the Chicago Bulls.
Never heard. I never heard.
I don't know where it's being held. So
maybe it's the Chicagoland Convention Center.
Okay, there you go. And that and the protesters, you'll be out at Comiskey Park, because there's a lot of room there, because not a lot of fans are showing up for the baseball games. White Sox are having a rough year.
They're having a tough time.
Tough year there in Comiskey.
Right.
So anyway, we'll see what happens, and we hope the police and the Secret Service can keep things calm there in Chicago. But people are showing up to create controversy, create chaos, and others are there to watch the chaos unfold. So we'll see what happens in Chicago starting tonight. All right, on Friday, Dave, we had concert number 9 of the 11-amp Woonsocket Music Series. Philip Michael Scales was on tap. And how did the people respond to the blues? You were there.
Oh, they were digging it.
Yeah, they were loving it.
They were digging it.
Oh, great. Glad to hear it was
nice crowd.
Well. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Mad Woman was there with her eats and rice bowls and stuff like that. No, that's the other one that has the fruits and stuff that. Yeah. And Buns Up was there.
All right.
With the hot dogs. Didn't have any soggies. Well, that's okay, because I got a chance to eat the sweet sausage instead. Sweet Italian sausage that he had there. Yeah, Buns Up. Did a nice job. Timmy does a nice job there.
Do you put any toppings on the sausage?
Yeah, onions and red peppers.
Oh, you like it spicy.
That's not spicy, really. No? The red peppers are they're just bell peppers.
Okay.
But they're the red ones instead of the green ones. Mm-hmm. They have a different taste.
All right. Well, I'm glad it went well.
It's a milder taste, actually. The red ones have got a milder taste.
Yeah. All right. Good crowd, so that's great. And,
very nice crowd. Everybody have fun.
Mm-hmm. And the last one of the summer.
Yeah.
Is this coming Friday. Patty Pershela.
Yeah.
And
the Mayhaps. It may happen or it may not.
That's
Who knows? Right. And then our opening act this week is our good friend from Boston, who comes by to see us now and then. She was at the reveal party back in the spring.
Yeah.
Lisa Bello.
All right.
Who is just a heck of a great singer, and she can sing with anybody, and she usually knows just the accompanist to bring along.
And right now things look great weather-wise.
I know
for
they
this
do,
coming
don't
Friday
they?
night. Clear skies and
Really
a low
happy
around
about
58.
that.
So that's fantastic. So we look forward to week number 10 of 11 Amp this coming Friday.
I was just telling the fabulous Denise yesterday when we were going over to the beef barn for a sandwich that I said, geez, I only got one more of these.
That's right.
And she says, yeah, but, it's a lot of work. I said, yeah, I know it's a lot of work, but
Goes
it's the
by
kind
fast,
of work
though.
that I like
Yeah. Okay.
when it's going well.
Yep.
When you don't have equipment drama and you don't have rain and stuff like that. Last Friday I was just like pinching myself. This is the life. I love this kind of stuff. Going out in the park with my little truck and my cameras and broadcasting nice stuff, and all the ads. And gosh, and I said, but after this, my next chance to do stuff like this is Autumn Fest.
That's right. Okay.
And then it's hot stove till next spring. Yikes.
Well, we'll see what we can come up with in the meantime then, Dave.
Yeah, we see what you can come up with. Yeah,
All right,
okay.
all right. Well, as we know, Ernesto is far out to sea.
Way out.
It's
You
heading,
can't even see him.
Is it hitting Canada? Is it hitting the Maritimes?
No,
up
it's
there?
actually going to hit Ireland and the British
Oh,
Isles.
it's that far out. Okay.
But it'll be a tropical storm by then.
All right. But it's creating rip currents up and down the East Coast.
It is now a
From Florida,
hurricane again after
that's right.
beating the heck out of Bermuda. You know what really bothers me about that? We haven't heard much from Bermuda since Ernesto went over.
That's right, yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, either they took it in stride or it wasn't any big deal. I don't know. A Category 1 hurricane. Oh, it was a Category 2 by the time it hit
I saw a lot of people in line buying provisions in Bermuda.
Yeah, right. They of course, like any rational society, they prepare.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard a lot. I mean,
Maybe they survived it okay.
Where is that guy that works for the Weather Channel that goes out into the storms? I mean, how come he's not in Bermuda?
Norcross, is that his name?
No, not Norcross. It's
somebody else.
Yeah, it starts with a K. Can't recall his last name, but he's one of the bozos that goes out and does this stuff, and so. So I'm saying, where is he? I don't see any big reports. I mean, everybody talks about it. Oh, it's beating the tar out of Bermuda as a hurricane level 11.2.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, well, it was hitting Bermuda. But what you really want to worry about is like 2-foot high waves here in Rhode Island. That's what you really want to worry about because we got an undertow out there.
Yeah, we got the rip current right here, and they're warning you. If you go heading to the beach, and boy, the sun's just come out, Dave. See, take a look at that.
Look at that.
So you might want to head to the beach. But anyway, you gotta pay attention to the lifeguards. If they say stay out of the water because of the rip currents, you really should. And there's always people. We always got the warning. There's always the people that head onto the rocks in the jetties. I mean, maybe they're fishing, or they want to get a good picture, like when the wave crashes against the rocks, and you get the spray, and you want to get a good selfie. Like that. Those are the ones you always see that get wiped out to sea because their backs to the water and they don't see it coming. So just be careful if you're going down there. Mother Nature in this instance is really nothing to be trifled with. Especially ocean waves are deadly. So that's what we have to deal with for today and probably tomorrow, as well as Ernesto is just on his way visiting the Isles of England and like that. So. All right. What comes as probably absolutely no surprise. I think this came out on Friday. That the state of Rhode Island has filed a lawsuit against 13 different companies over the Washington
Well, we were
Bridge
told
situation.
back in December they were looking into it.
It's coming. Yes.
Yeah. And then in February they said, "Yeah, we think we got smoking gun here."
Yep.
So now I guess the T's have been crossed and they're ready to go to court. And they went to the Supreme Court of Rhode Island.
Not even Superior. We're jumping right over. We're going right to the top here.
Big stuff.
Yep.
And if I were running any of those companies right now, I would be having a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
The AG, Peter Nerona, said in a statement that Rhode Island's economy, quote, has borne an immense cost, unquote. I mean, how many businesses have closed as a direct result of the bridge?
Well, that's a different answer than how many businesses have closed blaming it.
Yes.
But, like, for instance, even Bally's says Geez, millions and millions of dollars it's costing you because people don't go over the bridge.
But they haven't gone out of business because
no.
Of it. But others
have. Pizza places, restaurants, little venues on one side of the river or the other are all blaming it. I don't know what the truth is, but I can tell you, local eateries are susceptible to road construction.
Oh, sure. The complaint that was filed accuses the 13 companies, of not identifying worsening structural issues affecting the bridge. And the lawsuit was filed on Friday, in Rhode Island Supreme Court. So,
in other words, it was worse than they were reporting, is what they're saying. It was worse than they were reporting, and the difference of change from one report inspection to another report inspection, an alarm was not sounded when there was an accelerated deterioration. These are the points that they're trying to make at court.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll be able to prove those. And
but I mean, I saw the list of 13 companies, and quite frankly, I mean, what are you going to get out of them?
Oh, I don't know.
$1.80?
Are they all?
Getting a judgment is one thing.
Yeah, getting the money.
Getting the money is a totally different thing.
Are they all Rhode Island companies, or are they all out-of-state companies, or is it a mix?
It's a mix.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, this is just the beginning, Dave, of the lawsuit. So this is going to go on. This is going to drag for a while before things start getting fixed, and like that. All right. So other things going on, and so I guess this is good news, out of the state of Massachusetts. Governor Maura Healey's office says deals in principle have been reached to save 4 Steward Healthcare hospitals in Mass. It's not all of them, but 4 is better than 0, I guess, if you're going to look at it that way.
Yeah.
If the deals are finalized, we hope they are. We got one in Fall River, we got one in Brockton, we have one in Methuen, and one in in Boston. Did I count wrong?
Boston's Brighton neighborhood, yeah.
And then one in Taunton. Isn't that 5? 1, 2.
There are 8
3,
in all. 2 won't be
4.
sold. Is 6.
That's 5.
Right. So they have actual written agreements on the 5, and they are still reducing it to paper for the 6th. Would be the way I interpret that, Joe.
Right, but I'm just reading in the first sentence of the story. It says we're going to save 4 Steward Healthcare hospitals. And then it says the deals are finalized, they list 5 hospitals.
All right.
So which of the 4 out of the 5?
Got me.
All right. Maybe
the whole thing's a mess.
It is.
I had a bad feeling a long time ago when they decided that they were going to allow for-profit companies to run hospitals. Now, that was just an emotional reaction, and it wasn't based on any knowledge that I had, but I just had a bad reaction to it. And I'm reminded of it with this Steward thing, because that was a for-profit company. And according to the bad press that the state of Massachusetts keeps heaping out on Steward, that they're a very selfish company that takes care of their CEO and their people before they take care of people that come to the hospitals or people that work at the hospitals.
The CEO went to the Olympics, so...
Well, okay, fine. If he'd have stepped down, he could still have gone to the Olympics, because he had a couple of shekels. The point is, what got him to the point where he could afford to do that? And so he didn't have a company to run anymore.
Well, right, yeah. So
because when you go into receivership like they
time
did,
to take a vacation.
There is a receiver that's in charge doing what all the CEO stuff is. So the CEO is effectively neutralized in the day-to-day.
Yep.
And so now you got time to go to the Olympics where you might not have gone. I don't know. There's often 2 sides to every story. But I'm looking at the situation, and they keep heaping up that information that they hate these people and that they're no good, they're crooks and stuff like that. Should never have had hospitals to begin with. We're so happy they're leaving town. And who are they selling to? Heaven knows if they're worse. I don't know. So anyway, I was uncomfortable about it, but I have no real proof that it's a bad idea, and I'll tell you why. I'm glad you asked.
Why?
Well, I'm the only other one in the room now, so I got to talk, otherwise we're listening to you. So, no, but seriously, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. And I never really did know. I just had a bad feeling about it because I could see abuses, perhaps, that would be allowed that a nonprofit wouldn't be allowed to do. Until I look at some nonprofits today. I can't name you a nonprofit that does not have a CEO that earns six figures.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't name you one.
Okay.
Doesn't mean there aren't one.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there aren't 100 or 1,000 of them. I just can't name you one. And so I'm admitting my ignorance here, but it is a conversation show, so I'm just giving you my opinions and stuff. So, yeah, the way that nonprofits operate in the 21st century is far different than the way nonprofits worked in the 20th century. And because there's very little difference in the way they conduct day-to-day business, only in the way they account for it. So that's our situation. Is it better to have a nonprofit? It's easy to conclude that it is because you're looking for altruism when someone's trying to help the sick and injured. But doesn't mean that for-profit companies can't be altruism. I'll give you one other little factoid that I have observed down through the history. It is my considered opinion, based on my observations and experience, that I can name for you more profit-making corporations that donate more to charity and do more pro bono work for people than nonprofits. Nonprofits, many times, don't do nothing unless there's a grant.
Right.
And then they take a bow for doing it, but they're getting paid. Okay. Well, these are the nonprofit corporations. I'm not talking about the people that work for them, because you'll find people with tremendous hearts working for these nonprofit organizations, trying to better society and trying to help people who need help. But at the same time, when you look at the upper level on how it's organized and how it operates in the day-to-day, the line between nonprofit and profit-making corporations is blurring.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program.
Good, because I was done.
And just on a personal note, this works out well for me, by the way.
What?
If they keep open Good Samaritan Medical Center in Brockton and the Morton Hospital in Taunton, I have doctors that are associated with both of those hospitals.
Yeah, but how do you know they're going to be working for anybody who was worth working for later?
Last week we had the story that they were being sold to a private equity firm that runs.
Oh God!
I know,
private equity firm. That's a red flag for Dave.
But they run a healthcare portion, and I forget the name of the healthcare agency. So it's being sold to a healthcare organization run by a private equity firm. So there.
Private equity firms have one goal in life.
I don't make money.
Squeeze another 10 cents out of every dollar. They want $1.10 for every dollar.
All right. More Coffee Hands coming up. We've got comments and questions. You can call them in at 766-1240. We have a note to get to. And another reminder that Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates joins us at 8:30 here on ON Radio.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
WOON, Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM.
Thanks for joining us on the Coffee and program. Joe Callahan along with Dave Richards. Thanks for joining us this morning. And we got a note to get to here, Dave. 766-1240 on a completely different topic.
Yes.
All right.
For something completely different.
That's right. Vice President Harris.
Okay.
So far, when she talks, she brings up the topics about abortion, inflation, and taxes.
I know, but she's going to a Democratic convention. She's got to do the buzzwords.
Okay. However, have we heard her bring up the three big ones yet, which are immigration, the Israeli conflict, and the Ukraine-Russian war? Well, no, because she's going to hit her strong suits. And that the abortion, inflation, and taxes, that's her strong suit. All of which, the first three, the last three here, immigration, Israel, and the Ukraine-Russia war, all of which are costing the taxpayers U.S. dollars and making every citizen uneasy and nervous each and every passing day.
Well, not every citizen. Unfortunately, there's a percentage of people who don't pay attention, but anyone who pays attention, I'm sure, has great concerns that way. But, let's say, by the way, if we went to an advertising agency for, pick a big box store, any one of them, Lowe's, Best Buy, and said, hey, buy some ads on our station. By the way, we only serve northern Rhode Island and nearby Massachusetts. You wouldn't say that.
Well, no.
Yeah, so she said, I'm running for president. By the way, things didn't go so well when I was down there at the border. I couldn't get things done the way I wanted. It was a problem bigger than my office could handle.
Well, she's not going to bring that up.
I didn't get the support from the president that I needed. She's not going to say any of those things, silly. Now, it may be the truth, or it may be a lie. I don't know. I wasn't there, Charlie. But the facts is that when you're running for office, you're trying to sell yourself to as many millions of people as you can. And you're not going to say, oh, by the way, I goofed up.
Right. I'll talk about my good
That's
things.
Right. That's right. I mean, if you ever had a job, maybe you got into a job and it was like not a match and you tried to tough it out, but after 2 months you left. You ain't going to put it on your resume later, are you?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's be human about this. You're just not going to go show the warts. Oh, by the way, come look at everything I did wrong. I want you to vote for me.
And that's why the press keeps clamoring. They want to do a press conference with her. Because they do want to bring up immigration.
They want a piranha. That's right.
Ukraine.
They want a feeding frenzy.
They do.
They want. You're right.
We're not going to ask questions about. We know where you stand on abortion. You want it nationwide, and okay, that we're done.
Not the press's
and everything else.
Not the press's highest hour.
Yeah.
But that's what they are, and that's what they do, and that's what their bosses expect of them, and that.
All right. So will she bring it up at the convention this week? Probably not.
No.
She's going to talk about how wonderful she is and how thankful she is.
If you got detention one time, and in the 11th grade, are you going to bring it up when you're in a job interview?
Mm-hmm.
No.
All right.
And I know somebody's going to say, geez, that Dave, what an idiot he is. He's talking about detention in high school versus millions of people coming into the border illegally. It doesn't compare. You're right. It doesn't compare. Right. But if you back up and get some perspective on the matter, it's the same concept. When you're trying to sell yourself, you do not magnify your weaknesses. You magnify your strengths.
Sometimes in job interviews, they ask you that question, though.
Yeah.
Tell us a time where something went wrong.
Yeah, and how you handled it.
How did you fix it? That kind of thing. Okay. Well, here's what went wrong, and this is what I did to try to make it better. So, yeah. And unfortunately, you got to show yourself in a not such a great light. But this is how we fix it.
Well, yeah, but they give you a chance to spin it around and show you how you turned life's disadvantage to an advantage.
That's right. Okay, other things going on. This is always, amusing.
On account of, people are people. We goof up now and then.
Right.
People make mistakes on the job. People get themselves into a portion of their job that they can't handle. It happens to everybody.
People have been saying that over the weekend. Oh, we need to trade Jaron Duran. He's a homophobe, and we got to get rid of him.
Oh yeah.
And people come back at these people, which is great, and say, have you ever made a mistake in your life?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Did we take you outside and shoot you? No, you get a chance to redeem yourself.
Right. It ain't the mistake. It's how you stopped it and corrected it.
And he did. So okay. Now, and the real funny thing after the whole Jaron Duran fiasco,
Yeah.
sales of his jerseys have gone through the roof.
Yeah, I guess they have. And he's still a hell of an outfielder.
He's a great
Did you see that one? What
I
was
saw
it,
the catch.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
The catch. Over. It was
Over the
over the wall.
It was a home run.
Absolutely.
And he timed it perfect.
He pulled it back into
Yeah.
the park
Yep.
with his arm.
It was great. All right, up in
He
Boston,
still ain't hitting too good, but that comes and goes.
a suspect believed to have tried to break into a warehouse at MIT is in custody because the man decided to jump into a Charles River and make a swim for it.
I know.
At 3 a.m., he jumps into the Charles River in an attempt to evade police. He swam across to the Boston side where they were waiting for him.
Yeah. They got radios.
Come on. That's right. Come on.
You can do it. You can do it. Hurry up.
We're not getting wet. We'll help you out. And then they helped him out, and then they arrested him. I'm gonna take a jump into the river. So I heard
To say
over the
nothing
weekend,
of the infection you can end up with swimming in that
and then the
river.
Charles, yeah,
Little
It's
lie
supposed-
infection,
It's
yeah.
supposed to be clean. So, and I heard, it was gonna be a big protest on Boston Common over the weekend.
Yes, there was.
And
And not just Boston Common, by the way. They took it up the steps.
did they march to the State House?
Yeah, they
All
did.
right. It was going to be this big protest where women
It's
were
the
going
one
to be
you
there.
didn't see on TV
You can
on
see
account of they couldn't take the pictures.
You can see them from the back. Actually, I saw some pictures.
Yeah.
Because X is okay with it, and so you can take them from the front. But anyway, it's a group of women that want.
Oh, no, I'm talking about TV.
Well, right. Well, these were TV pictures.
Serious?
They were from Channel 4 in Boston. And
What they do,
you could-
redact them?
No, you
Did
can.
they blur
you,
them?
You can snap them, and you can post
Oh,
them.
snapping.
Snap pictures.
That's different.
And post them on
You can
Twitter.
control that, but a live
That's
video
okay.
camera,
No, that you couldn't.
Right.
But it's because a bunch of women want topless equality. If men can go without their shirts on, so can we. And they said,
Right.
oh yeah, we're gonna have this big protest. You know what the big protest was?
Why?
12 women. 12.
Oh,
is,
was that?
12 is not big.
Yeah, they made it seem like it was much bigger.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, they
and
did.
I think they wanted it to be, but only 12 showed up.
We're prepared to be arrested.
Yeah, and they weren't though.
Yeah.
There were no arrests. I think they got the okay to do this. From the city. It's
Oh.
our First Amendment rights, and you got from noon to 3,
Yeah.
and you can do your march from the Boston Common to the State
As
House.
long as it's organized.
Oh, yep, and you don't cause trouble.
Don't be walking
fine.
around talking little kitties and stuff like that. No, you
Nope,
got to
they
be
were there.
organized. It's got to look like a protest.
They carried their signs,
Right.
and about a dozen women marched through the Common, called on the state lawmakers to make it legal for women to be topless in public. Several of the women in the protest marched to the State House with no tops, and the words "equal rights" were written on their backs.
Right.
No arrests were reported, and the group just when they do this kind of thing, what it really does is it just attracts a lot of men who all have their cameras out.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
and that's that's what you're gonna get. And I was told, I remember reading, it's gonna be this big protest. 12 is not big.
Well, I suppose not. When
And,
you consider how many people there are
Yeah.
that are women who
And,
could have protested, I suppose. But yeah, well, let's face it. It takes a certain kind of personality to engage in that kind of protest, and so you're going to have people who are professionals, or people with family they have to consider, and there's going to be those who just look at it and say, "Yeah, okay, I'm with you, but I can't do that."
Do you ever think we'll get to a point in this country, Dave, where female toplessness will be accepted by the majority of society?
Now you're getting me to. You're getting me to. Hey, listen.
I don't think it will ever happen.
I look at it this way. Anything is possible,
Yep.
and I might have an opinion about it, but I wouldn't be surprised with the excesses of society.
If you ask if you go around and if you ask women, should women have the right to do this? A majority will say yes. Then they say, okay, if it becomes
Commonplace.
not commonplace but not illegal,
Okay.
would you do it? No.
No. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know from personal experience, but the people I talk to who are female, they say, the bra was a really good idea.
Yeah.
And so we're good. We may complain about wearing it or having to wear it and stuff like that, but the fact is, it ain't a bad thing. And so that's what I'm being told by ladies, and so if they're expected to go out topless.
Well, not expected. They just want to go. They just want to go to Boston Common and lay out and get some rays.
Okay.
They want to be harassed. They want to be arrested. Okay.
Well, there's still places to go. You can
There
do
are
that.
other
Moonstone
places.
Beach is available here in Rhode Island.
no,
Be sure to
that's-
leave your money behind when you come, ladies.
The piping plover has taken over. So,
Yeah.
anyway, it's time for the weather forecast being brought to you by
I think the piping plover left town.
Qdoba.
It was
A
only in town for the
100%
ladies.
chance of showers and thunderstorms today, high of 76. New rainfall amounts up to 3/4 of an inch is possible. Tonight, 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms as things wind down from the storm. New precipitation amounts overnight up to 1/4 of an inch. Tuesday's weather, mostly cloudy, 69. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 71. Thursday, sunshine and 73. Friday, sunshine and 79. Saturday, sunshine and 82. And on Sunday, mostly sunny skies, high of 84.
Outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with cloudy skies. No rain at the moment. We have 75 degrees. Steak it up a notch with new habanero lime steak from Qdoba. It's the perfect hit of heat to spice up your entree. Order today at Qdoba.com or download the app.
Lincoln and North Smithfield Urgent Care Centers are Northern Rhode Island's modern comprehensive urgent cares devoted to the best family health care available. They have board-certified doctors on their staff who will make you feel safe, comfortable, and reassured, especially when you're in doubt and concerned about the severity of your discomfort. Both centers feature on-site labs and x-ray facilities, as well as drug screens, complete physicals, flu shots, occupational medicine, including workers' comp and free blood screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 8 and Saturday 9 to 5. Lincoln Urgent Care, located across from Lincoln Mall, 333-9595. Open weekdays 9 to 9, Saturday and Sunday 9 to 5. You do have a choice.
When you install a garage door, don't forget the safety factor. Woonsocket Door Sales suggests you visit their website at woonsocketdoorsales.com and read about all the new technology available to make your garage and your home safe. In addition to your vehicles, your garage may store valuable tools and equipment. It may also have access to your home. Their website also features a variety of designs and comments about satisfied customers. Woonsocket Door Sales in Cumberland, 767-3448. They install, repair, and service all types of garage doors for commercial and residential.
All right, Coffee Inn on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards. And we're also being joined at the coffee table by Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates.
Good morning, Joe.
How are you, Chief?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I don't know if you were listening to the program, but in your, how many years have you been a police officer?
50. I'm in my 51st.
All right. And you were down in Providence for a long time as well. But we just had the story up in Boston where the man tried to swim across the Charles River to try to get away, to try to evade the police.
Yeah.
And they were just waiting for him. He jumped in on the Cambridge side. They were just waiting for him on the Boston side and arrest him. Ever run into that where someone jumped in the Providence River?
Oh, we have them jumping in the river up here all the time.
Yeah.
Blackstone,
Yeah.
it happens
That's
at
true.
least
It
once
did.
or twice.
It did. This
at least
year.
once or twice a month.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in Providence, I don't know how many times, but no, they have to come out at some point.
Well,
That's right.
It's difficult to outrun a radio or
That's
to,
it.
to outrun 4 or 5.
That's the whole
months or
thing. The cops have got radios.
Oh, right. That's right. And here they come. And is it the rule of the police to not jump in after them?
In
How do
most
you-
cases, if you don't have to, no, because
Yeah.
first of all, if the person's going to be combative, the last thing you want to do is be fighting with somebody in the water, fighting with somebody in the water, and then plus the equipment that we have on. The only time that we go into water is basically life saving. If we
Yeah.
believe that someone's drowning, whether it's even an adult or a child,
They can't come out.
They
yeah.
can't come out. That's the only way that we would go in the water. And our guys have gone in, say up to their waists in that, in situations where someone in the winter, they've got these foolish people have run into the water and then now find themselves in a problem where they can't even, people don't realize,
The legs
especially
don't
in
work.
cold water, how bad it is. In fact, I was a young crossing guard in Smithfield when Norman Fazina, a Smithfield police officer, died trying to rescue a young boy that went through the ice in Smithfield. I actually went to his funeral, but I'll never forget that.
Wow.
They both end up passing away.
Yeah.
All right.
But, now, I got to ask the chief this question. You mentioned the equipment because you have a radio on. Many of them have, cameras nowadays. You got tasers. You have the service weapon, and you have all of these different things, handcuffs that don't react well to getting wet. Mm-hmm. What would it cost if an officer just, there's not even a second to strip down, I've got to get in there and do what I can to help this person? The
taser would probably be the most effective. The firearm, most of the other equipment that we carry, and the body camera, but most of them, the body cameras are pretty much water resistant. They're not really waterproof. They're not waterproof, but they're water resistant. So,
but if you had to go in and try to get somebody, and plus that stuff will weigh you down.
Well,
what about a Kevlar vest? What does that weigh?
Yeah. Well, ideally, if you can, you would get rid of it with another officer on the shore. In other words, normally you'd have somebody else with you. And one of the things that you bring up another topic. So I don't have mine on today, but we bought I got for all the officers what's called load-bearing vests now. So what a vest is, it's actually what they wear is they wear a shell shirt, and this vest has the majority of their equipment on it. Their tasers, their firearms, their firearm stays on their belt, but the taser, the body camera, extra ammunition, if they're carrying a knife or whatever it is, and it just flips over your head, and the body armor is all inside of that. So it's very quick. But the purpose of that is that they found out, especially after 50 years of it, carrying all that gear, especially, and it's when I came on, it was basically a gun, handcuffs, and pepper spray. That was it. That was it. Now with all this other equipment, by distributing it across the vest, and it's much more comfortable for them sitting in the car, so that their posture's right. And then if they're outstanding for periods of time, the way it is, that's what they call load-bearing vests. It was taken after the military who did all the research, but there was actual research done on how bad some of the backs of police officers have become over the years for all this gear. So we have they have the option of wearing load-bearing vests. And the nice thing about it too, they can come into the station, so the firearm's always on their belt. But when they come into the station, especially in hot weather like this, to do a police report, they just simply take it off and put it in the chair next to them. They can sit and cool down, and then before they go out, if they have to go out, it's a matter of 2 seconds to throw it back on, and they can go right back out on the road.
All right. Last Tuesday was National Night Out at World War II Park.
It was.
How did that go?
We had a
well attended?
We had a great turnout, and in fact,
and that was 1 week delayed.
Yeah, the weather. We had that bad weather the week before. And we made the last minute judgment call to change it up, and I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, good call on that, because it didn't look bad when you made the call.
Well, yeah, but no, it was a beautiful night. Zach Cooner, the United States Attorney, came with members of his staff. It was nice to see him there. He had actually been earlier to Pawtucket and said that we had a lot more people than Pawtucket, which is good for us. And I'm sure Pawtucket had a good turnout. Their chief, Tina Gonzalez, is a great person. So I'm sure that they did it too. But we were very happy with the turnout. Gave away
bikes?
2 bikes, a bike for a boy and a bike for a girl with a helmet, and plus we had free tacos and water for what they had. And then I want to thank all the different businesses and organizations that had some tents set up, and the Chief Cahill and the fire department. Those guys are always our partners, and they were there that night. They were there that night with us, passing out their stuff too.
So you had a lot of interaction with the kids too?
Yes, exactly. And we had actually state police were good enough to send one of their canine officers on. They actually had a trooper that was in training, a graduate from the new academy. So those 2 were there with my 2 canines. So they did some demonstrations, which is always a big crowd pleaser. Big crowd pleaser too.
All right. When you do these things, you ever get a child, like let's say 5th grade, 6th grade, come up to you and say, I want to be that's my goal. I want to be a police officer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and this is the nice thing about...
That must be heartwarming for you.
Yeah, and what it is so much of the time we're meeting people and families, there's some kind of crisis going on, even if it's a car crash or if it's a domestic in their home or something like that. This is a good time for everybody. Everybody's relaxed. A lot of the young kids love having pictures taken with them, but no, there had to be two or three young boys and a young girl that came up, that they want to be a police officer someday. So
what do you tell them?
First of all, stay out of trouble when you're young.
Tell them you got to stay in school. You got to stay in school.
Right.
You got to get a good education. You got to get a good education. You got to do what your mother and father or whoever your guardians are to do that. And you got to stay out of trouble. And you got to stay out of trouble if you want to become a police officer.
Easy enough.
And eat right and do some exercise and stay in shape.
All right. We had this question from a couple of weeks ago. So someone brought up on coffee, and I said, okay, next time we have a representative from the police department, we'll ask him. So it was a situation that took place in North Providence about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where the man basically barricaded himself in a house. A 60-year-old man has 90-year-old mother down there, and so they're negotiating, and after about 3 hours, they shoot in the tear gas, and that's how they go and got him, knocked on the door.
I don't believe they used tear gas.
No,
because
that was the point of the question.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
I would say I would be shocked if they used tear gas.
Okay.
Especially with a woman in there. That's even though she was a hostage, but she wasn't a hostage in the way she was not a threat to. She was not a threat to him. I'm sure that what they tactically did is they waited for their opening to make a forced entry and went in and were able to overcome him.
Okay.
So that took them time, and I'm sure I don't believe they recovered any weapons. So there was a threat of weapons, and that's what in those type situations you would do. If there's no person in there with them, they could go on for as long as it is. So the philosophy's completely changed from what it was.
Well, that's the question. Let's negotiate for 30 minutes. And if it's not going in, okay, bust in and go get him. Why is this taking so long?
No, that's out the window. That's out the window. It's if it takes 2 days for them to realize to come out, it's time to come out. And plus, we have the technology now. Even we have it here with drones. We can actually send a drone into the house. If there's an open, if you had to, you'd break a window. It's a smaller drone. It goes in. They can even communicate with the people that are in the. They can even communicate with the people that are in the house. But it gives you a bird's eye view.
What's going on?
Yeah, and Providence had that drone and knew that. Unfortunately, when they had that horrific shootout that they had where there were hundreds of rounds fired, the drone was able to tell them that this guy is loading up and getting ready to go, and they really knew that they were going to have a problem, and they did. But through the grace of God, no police officers were hurt.
Doesn't it come down to the basic rules? A police officer, police department, they represent the law. The law isn't in person. That's the personification of the law, which is the order of society. Good, bad, or indifferent makes that somebody else's department what laws they put in. But now you're there to enforce the laws, to make sure that when a law is, that it'll be obeyed, or there's consequences to encourage the obeying of laws. We've got that. But isn't it the first concern when you get on the scene where a law is probably being broken to take control of the situation so that the law is in control of the situation and not personalities and things like that. So, and when you have to resort to tear gas, you give up control, because now the tear gas is really going to control what happens. The heat of the canister going off could start fire, and so you lose a certain amount of control when you go with tear gas. You're not really gaining control.
Now, I can't remember.
Have I got all that wrong?
No, and I can't remember the last time that I've in this state that I've heard of tear gas deployed in any type of a barricaded subject situation. It's old. We've evolved.
It's in all the movies.
We've evolved so much in different other areas of technology, of things that would be better than tear gas. And you're right. And it was a joke with us on the tactical team. In other words, they write right on the canisters, not odds, like not flammable. Well, it burns at 1100 degrees. If it lands in a couch, the couch is going to catch fire.
When you fire it in, you can't say where it's going to land.
No, and it hits off a wall or whatever. But the other issue with that we see more and more of, and we're much more educated on it today, is as it was in North Providence, the bottom line is this person was in a mental health crisis.
Right.
And the last thing you want to do with someone in a mental health crisis is injure them or kill them. You know, because they're not of right mind. They're not of right mind.
That's right. They're irrational.
Unfortunately, sometimes it gets to that point where it has to be self-defense on the part of the police officer if they're in the house on, say, a call or some type, and now the person has a firearm or it goes to threaten him, even though he's having the mental health thing, the police officer is not going to lose his life over it. But that's why in most of the cases now, it's a very slow posture with what to do. There's different ways not to try and get them agitated, and to also try and get them calmly to just surrender and get the help
de-escalate
they
the
need.
situation. So the
Exactly.
emotions go down.
Yep.
When emotions can trigger anything.
Right, exactly. But we take that even in our day-to-day call seriously. We have a clinician that rides with us from Community Care Alliance once a week for 8 hours, and they're on call for us if we do have the need for them. We have officers that have all been trained with excuse me for 1 second. Well, on crisis intervention training, and what to look for signs and those type things. So, we try and stay ahead of the curve with that.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More with the Chief is coming up. Stay tuned.
There's an old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't get fooled again, Woonsocket. I'm John Ward, and I've been working for you and only you for 25 years now. 2 years ago, Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt was removed from office for good reason. She angrily came back with a team and tried to have the city spend way too much money buying a piece of land from her friend. This recent report proves it, and in shame, she had to quit. Now she wants her hand-picked mayor to stay in office while much of her team is leaving. Slow audits, overvalued properties, and now private information released. Have you had enough yet, Woonsocket? I know I have. I'm John Ward, and I'm running to be your mayor. There's no room for cronyism that keeps costing you money. This embarrassment must stop. Want to know more? Visit wardformayor.org. I'd appreciate your vote September the 10th. We're better than this.
Paid for friends of John Ward.
Hi, this is Kevin, host of Kevin's Sports Show, every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on WOON 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, and WoonsocketRadio.com. Follow all your New England teams and your local athletes. Call in at 766-1240 to Kevin's Sports Show every Saturday morning.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards, and Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates is here as well. We did get a note. It's got nothing to do with you, Chief, though. They just want us to go over the traffic changes on Route 146 northbound. There's not too much of a change other than you got to make a decision. If you're going 146 north, right when you pass by Majestic Honda, where Majestic Honda used to be, you can make a choice either be in the left-hand or the right-hand lane. You can't switch lanes after that because the Jersey barriers are up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there you
when they announced the flyover bridge was opening, the DOT in Rhode Island said, make your decision early, get in your lane early, don't be cutting people off, changing your mind as you go along. Now, they said that. Now they mean it.
Yeah.
Because now they put the Jersey barriers up so that you really got to make that decision early. And then you can't change your mind after.
Right. All right, Chief. In terms of the summertime here in the city of Woonsocket, I mean, we've had a few isolated incidents that have taken place. But overall, would you say this is, in terms of like violent acts in the city, is this a down year from past years? Is this average?
Careful, you don't want them to jinx it.
Yeah,
I know, it's still going on.
I don't want to. So all I can say is it's been a good. This summer's been a good summer, with the exception of a few high-profile incidents that we've had. We've had some. Our offices are constantly busy, but it's mostly with the quality of life issue calls, which any city has for the loud music and loud parties and that type. And of course, so around the 4th of July, we had our share of fireworks complaints, like everybody else. But for the most part, it's good, and we try and address all of those problems. As you see, we move the traffic sleds around. We have sled and sign and actual signs that go on poles. We try and move them into areas that we get complaints. to try and.
Where was
calm
the one that had
traffic.
the misspelled word on it, Joe?
Oh, that's on South Main Street.
Well, that's what was it says 2? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that's a CAN system. That's a CAN thing from DOT. So we had to go into the cloud to change it.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
You mean
but
they
it says-
can't spell in
but,
Providence?
No. Well, nah, it's just someone who made up whatever it is. They give you a menu of different things. Click it or ticket or whatever.
Yeah,
it is. And
okay,
so
okay.
whoever put together the menu, made a mistake. And then when so if we do it now, if we can put any message we want on it.
Okay.
But if we use their thing, so sometimes one of the guys would think it's just, well, I'm just going to put.
Yeah.
That. And
It's like boilerplate.
Click theirs, and,
Yeah.
and then realize that it's not. But if that's the biggest problem that people have with us, that we misspelled that, then I'll take that. I'll take that hit.
So it was a couple of weeks ago. We had the carnival right down here at Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
I'm sure the police were down there. Everything goes smooth down there.
Yeah, this
That
year
event?
was pretty good. Last year
Yeah.
we did have some Last year we did have a little bit of problems. But no, this year for the most part there was there was definitely no major incidents.
Right, yeah.
and it was good.
All right,
and the thing is with the thing is with those events too, and I mean we're going to have Autumn Fest coming up. Is my issue is staffing.
Yeah.
I'm at that requires a detail of five officers a night on top of. I have as many as on any given day 20 officers out on traffic details.
Yeah, well,
And
it's
they're-
big construction season.
yeah, it's all
Oh,
over,
it's constant,
and thank God for the retirees who
Right.
come back
Come back
come
to
back
do
and come back and help out with doing that, so they can do the traffic work. They can't do any detail work where they have to be armed or
Yeah.
have any arrest powers, but to do with the traffic work, they can help out, and they've really been a good help for getting through this busy summer with a lot of construction around.
Well, Chief,
Yeah.
talk about the recruitment situation with the Woonsocket Police Department.
Yeah, just like
Things have changed.
Yeah, just like every other department in the state, we're having trouble getting candidates. In fact, I have just one candidate in the academy that started a couple of weeks ago.
But you've had 3 that have retired.
I had 3 left within the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So I'm authorized with I have 4 positions that the school department funds, which are the SROs, and then my department's authorized for 101. I'm at 91 today.
Yeah.
So even with the one in the academy, the best I'm going to do is 92
Right.
by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Unless I do have one, which is unusual for us. I have a police officer that was on another police department that had left that's looking to come over to Woonsocket, but there's a process to go through for that.
Okay.
Sure.
So we're putting through the process. But yeah, no, it's open recruitment now. So we've changed before where different police departments
Used to be
all-
seasons.
You used to all do their agility. Well, because the academy only runs twice a year, so you can only send people to the in the academy in July, usually, or August, and then it's January or February. So usually recruitment runs up to the period before that. But right now, we've changed the process, as almost every police department in the state did. Instead of each department running their own agility test and written tests all on the same days, competing against one another. In other words, if I was running the Woonsocket agility or written test on this Saturday, Smithfield may be running theirs, Johnston may be running theirs, Pawtucket may be running theirs. So those candidates can't be in 2 places at once.
Right.
So if they don't pass or they don't, I never get to see them. So with this is an organization called Fit to Serve. It's a company that's recognized by the Post, which certifies here in Rhode Island police departments and the training and that. And you can, they do numerous times during the year, they do an agility test and they do a written test, which is accepted by the Post. So you have a certificate that you can go to any of the police departments in Rhode Island for an interview. And then so the nice thing about it is if I do get a candidate, and this last candidate came from that process. Well, we interviewed him, then I sent him for a psychological exam, which is required by all police officers, and a physical exam, and then he has to do the agility test over again before entering into the academy. But it eliminates the expense of when I ran an agility test. Of course, I'd be happy to have. At one point, there was 100 to 200 people that show up for an agility test, but I'd need 5 or 6 officers that would be there to proctor it to do that. Now I don't have that expense. I don't have that expense at all.
Must streamline things too.
It does. It does. Yeah. No, it's the way that it's the way that it is. Recruitment has never been more difficult than ever with everybody, and it's cutthroat.
Well, the job has gotten so much more difficult.
Well, and since George Floyd, we haven't recovered from George Floyd in the way that we were treated by the media in a lot of cases, and some of the public in general. I have to say here in Woonsocket, that was not the case. The political environment, the mayor, the city council past, and the current, since I've been here, have been nothing but supportive of me as far as funding, as far as just just being supportive of what we do in general, and the public out there. Everywhere I go, and I try and get out on the road at least 2 or 3 hours a day and bop into different stores and restaurants and grab a coffee, and people all come up to me, and say what how happy they are with the service that they're getting and how good my offices look, and tell me stories about when my offices helped them out with either they ran out of gas or they had some situation. So I'm very lucky to have the crew that I have.
You're talking about the way things have changed so much. Homeless have always been among us, but it seems to be very different in these last few years since the pandemic, especially. It's been quite obvious. What kind of problems is that bringing to your department, and how to handle these? You can't ignore them, and they're everywhere, and there seems to be more of them than ever before.
There is, and it is a problem, and the thing is the bottom line is it's not a police problem. It's a society. It's a society problem. But you're right. We have to deal with the fact that a lot of them have mental health issues, a lot of them have drug issues, a lot of them have alcohol related issues.
Right.
They victimize each other. There's assaults, there's robberies. There's a lot of different problems.
You had those thugs the other day who went around victimizing homeless people at early morning hours.
Yeah, and there's people who prey on them, and then they prey on other people. It's a bad situation. I don't think anyone has the answer for it. The state, they closed the shelters. That there were shelters that were actually closed in the spring, where people were staying. So I don't know what the game plan is. Everyone knows winter comes every year. So
right.
I don't know who's I know there's state organizations involved in that and federal organizations, but it has been a strain on our resources. But we treat them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. They're human beings, and they have rights like everybody else does, and that frustrates a lot of people where they expect us. They want us to throw them out of the park, or they want to say, there's someone sleeping on a bench. There's nothing constitutionally wrong with that, and we're going to protect everybody's rights.
Right.
Okay.
Now, what about what is the law say about situations that I overheard, where someone was in one of our city parks and came upon a used syringe laying out on a table with some other debris and refuse? Is that something you call the police for?
It's not. It's really not necessary. I mean, you just have to be careful if you're going to pick it up and discard it. You could put it in a bottle. Take the needle, put it in an open bottle, put it in an open can.
These people didn't want to touch it, but they didn't know if they should call the cops.
Well, they could. We're the last resort for everything. But I mean, for us, basically, it's litter is what it boils down to. And so people can pick it up. I know there's that stigma of the syringe. Unless you stick yourself with it, and even with that, there's the possibility you're not going to. But it's not something I would recommend or try.
After,
but I mean, you could pick up a piece of paper. You don't have to touch it with your bare hand. You can put it in a bottle, put it in a can, and just remove it out of the way. Put it in the trash.
Soda can, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to go to every call that was someone found, unfortunately, a needle, we'd be spending a lot of time going around picking up needles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time we had a police officer here, they talked about the electric bikes that the department has, and still working out okay?
Yeah,
buzzing around.
The guys love them.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they love them. We bought two
more. Do they fight over who gets them?
No, because what we have, and it's been a good thing. We have federal grant money and some other monies that are grants that allow us in the summer like this. I put out on any given day, especially in the busier days, at least two to 4-hour blocks for officers to go out and ride around the city, going right around the parks. The visibility is really good. The electric bikes have given them the ability to get into some neighborhoods like Fairmont and even up here off of Park Avenue that they wouldn't normally be able to. In the days before, you'd have to put a bike rack on a car and drive a bike up into the neighborhood and then do that. But this has expanded the areas that they can go. But if I use it, I still use the pedal.
A regular pedal bicycle.
Like
and you
the
still
pedal.
have those, right? With the department?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So those people are out and about too.
Yeah.
So
Now,
great.
can they go an entire shift on a charge, or is that just
just
portion of-
about. Yeah. No, they for that, because they're pedaling with them too, so there's charging that's in effect. The more that you don't pedal, the quicker the battery life's going to go. But
Right.
I'm not aware of any of them running out. We had two that we had originally got, and then we bought two more, which are a more expensive and more sophisticated bike, but are a lot better. But like I said, the guys really enjoy getting out. It's great visibility.
Sure is. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. So it always goes by so quick when we have the chief here. But thanks for coming in, Chief.
Joe, it's always great to see you, and Dave.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me,
Chief. It's always great. Always a very informative conversation we have you on the show. I hope we can do it again soon.
Sure. Whenever you guys want.
Dave, thanks for coming in as well.
It's a pleasure.
All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone, and stay tuned for Leslie Page at the Libraries coming up, along with Karen Zangari. Food First here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The American Civil Liberties Union in Rhode Island is opposed to a proposal regarding homeless shelters in Cranston. It would